Liverpool vs Arsenal, last season's champions up against last season's runners-up. Two teams that have invested heavily this summer, both with their eyes on the Premier League title. Now, even though this is an early season clash, it could be a very significant game. A real momentum builder, and with it being played at Anfield, Liverpool will naturally be seen as the favourite. But let's not forget, under Mikel Arteta, Arsenal actually have a very good record against the Big Six. So far this season, Arsenal have looked exactly as you'd expect defensively. They play with 4 defenders and 2 defensive midfielders, giving them an incredibly strong rest defense, an incredibly good set piece defending. They cover spaces well, and they don't give teams many chances. Going forward, that spark hasn't quite been there, just like last season. I know they scored 5 the other day, but about 3 of them were from set pieces. In open play, they're still not creating enough chances for the attacking quality that they have on the pitch. That being said, the set piece threat is as dangerous as ever, and now with Eberechi Eze in the side, there's an even bigger weapon in that attacking lineup. As for Liverpool, their attack has already shown how fluid it can be. Even though Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike are still settling into the team, they got 4 past their opponents in game week 1 and they got 3 past their opponents in game week 2. But the concern has definitely been the defense. It looks shakier than ever. The structure just hasn't been right, and some of the individual decision making has been poor. The good news is that Alexis McAllister is back and he should be fit for the Arsenal game, and Liverpool have their right backs available again, which should make it a lot harder for Arsenal to create clear chances in the game. In this video, I'll break down the lineup I expect Liverpool to go with against Arsenal, and more importantly, the 3 key ways that Liverpool can cause Arsenal problems from different areas of the pitch. And at the end, I'll give you my prediction of the game, which might surprise you. So stick around for that, and as always, let me know your predictions in the comments below. Let's get into the team sheet. Starting in goal, it's of course Alisson Becker, and he is going to have to be at his absolute best. We know how many crosses Arsenal put into the box. We know how good Arsenal are from their set piece attacking ability. So Alisson will have to command that box. He'll have to show a lot of aerial ability in terms of claiming the ball, in terms of punching the ball. And he showed that against Newcastle, he definitely has the ability to do so. Now, right back is where there's a massive question for Arne Slot. Conor Bradley is probably the most well-balanced right back Liverpool have available. He's probably the favoured option. But as we saw against Newcastle, he's not quite fully fit. He's not quite match ready, which can cause a lot of issues defensively. Then you have Joe Gomez, who's a different type of right back, someone who's more defensive, who would solidify the defence. Alongside Konate and Van Dijk, he would definitely be the option that allows Liverpool to have a very good base in terms of their defensive work. But he's not the type of right back that Arne Slot likes. And for that reason, my pick is Dominic Szoboszlai. He showed against Newcastle just how good he can be as a right back. Defensive intensity was absolutely brilliant against a couple of very good wingers. And then on top of that, he has the capability to invert and try and help build up the play from deep. And he can also push up and help Mohamed Salah. So I'm actually going with Dominic Szoboszlai, which might seem a little bit unorthodox. In terms of the centre-back duo is of course going to be Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk has been absolutely brilliant, especially in that game against Newcastle. He was a dominator at the back. He was absolutely at his best. But Ibrahima Konate, however, if Mark Guéhi had already signed for Liverpool, I genuinely believe this could have been a game that Konate gets dropped for. But I really hope he finds his form again and he can have a brilliant performance against Arsenal and finally get back into the match sharpness that we expect from him. And at left back, there's the question of Andy Robertson and Milos Kerkez, but I'm going to go with Milos Kerkez again. His carrying ability has been good. His ability to go forward is always excellent. He provides an excellent option for Cody Gakpo alongside him in terms of an overlap. Defensively, yes, there's been a bit of problems in terms of his aerial duels at times. Sometimes his positioning can be off. Sometimes he forces a tackle when he doesn't need to. But overall, I think some of the comments that have been made about his defending have definitely been overstated. Moving on to the midfield, we all know Arne Slot is going to stick with Ryan Gravenberch as the defensive midfielder. That is his favoured option. That is the option that really helps Liverpool in terms of their defensive work. And he was excellent against a very tough midfield against Newcastle. And then alongside him, It's of course Alexis McAllister. This was the double pivot that won Liverpool the Premier League last season. It provides brilliant balance in terms of the defensive work, but also brilliant balance in terms of getting the ball forward. Ryan Gravenberch has his carrying ability. Alexis McAllister has his passing ability and carrying ability, to be fair to him. And that should help the ball get to the number 10 more often than we've seen so far this season. And that is, of course, Florian Wirtz. There's been a lot of online noise about Wirtz being underwhelming so far. I think his performance against Bournemouth was very good off the ball and on the ball. Against Newcastle, he was decent off the ball, but he could have done a lot more on the ball. But a lot of that problem comes from the fact that the players behind him are not playing this pass to him. If they can play this pass more quickly to him and that ball gets to Florian Wirtz as the number 10, he can cause a lot of issues. Then we move on to the right wing, which is of course going to be Mohamed Salah. In my opinion, Liverpool aren't getting the ball enough to Mohamed Salah at the moment. He's not really finding enough of the ball in a game like we did last season, where we were able to maximize his potential by getting this ball as often to Mohamed Salah from the right back, from the DM, from the number 10. That is something that needs to be worked on, because we were playing way too much towards that left-hand side. Going in at left wing, one of the most disrespected players at Liverpool right now, and that is Cody Gakpo. He is extremely disrespected. He's very good with the ball at his feet. He scored a few goals for Liverpool. His heading ability and aerial ability has actually caused Liverpool to have another way of building up play. And just overall, Cody Gakpo needs to be more respected in this club, because he is someone who gets in the box, gets his shots off, and gets his goals. And finally, up front, it's going to be Hugo Ekitike. He has had a brilliant start to his Liverpool career, a brilliant start to the Liverpool season. That link-up play, that ability to get Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo involved in the game. And I actually believe this Cody Gakpo and Ekitike duo has definitely been very good for Liverpool so far this season, and something that's going to improve as the games go on, because they will build that connection alongside Florian Wirtz, alongside Mohamed Salah, and together they will be brilliant. And if we can get Alexander Isak through the door as well, then Liverpool's forward options going to the season look much better. And that is my Liverpool 11. I also have the Arsenal 11 ready for you in what I believe is going to be the Arsenal 11. I'm not going to go into as much detail, but it's going to be Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Eze at the left wing, Gyökeres up front, and Madueke at right wing. This is assuming Bukayo Saka is out, and the fact that Martin Odegaard will probably push himself to be fit for this game. If Odegaard is out, then I can see Eze moving into that position and Gabriel Martinelli moving into the left wing. But let's get into the ways that Liverpool can cause Arsenal problems. Now, don't get me wrong, this will not be an easy task. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal team is very well drilled. They are very good defensively, and it is very hard to break them down. But in my opinion, there are three ways that Liverpool can do this. The first thing is this right hand side here. Jurriën Timber and William Saliba. Both of them do not like aerial battles. Jurriën Timber doesn't have the height for it, and even though he's very strong in his defensive duels, he's very good with his ball retention, in the air he can definitely be got at. And as for William Saliba, he may be tall, but he's not someone who fancies an aerial battle, an aerial duel. And he's also not very good at directing his headers when he wins aerial battles. And we saw against Newcastle, there was one specific pass Liverpool kept on playing. That was Alisson Becker to Cody Gakpo, and it was a continuous pass that Liverpool kept on playing, and something that they can bring to this Arsenal game. If they are able to get that ball to Cody Gakpo quick enough, then he can bring it down and get Florian Wirtz involved into the game. He can get Hugo Ekitike involved into the game, and even maybe just get Alexis McAllister the ball so that Liverpool can build up the play. And that helps, because if Liverpool are being bullied in terms of their build-up play from the back, Arsenal's press is very tight, then Alisson has that ball to play to Cody Gakpo to get Liverpool out of the pressure and get them back moving the ball forward and having a comfortable game against Arsenal. The second key area, in my opinion, is this left-hand side here. What happens is that Calafiori pushes up and provides width to this team, and Eze pushes towards the inside. That is what we're likely to see. But that means Mohamed Salah, who definitely doesn't push back with his man, has a free space on this right-hand side. And we'll see Ryan Gravenberch go towards Calafiori, or even Szoboszlai go towards Calafiori before we see Mohamed Salah. So what does that mean? That means there is this space here for Mohamed Salah to attack. But what usually happens is that Gabriel comes outside and meets Salah while Saliba will move towards Ekitike. And that is perfectly fine, because if we can get this ball quick enough to Mohamed Salah from Gravenberch, from Wirtz, or even a long pass from Van Dijk into Mohamed Salah, who takes a 1v1 touch against Gabriel, and he has this often enough, we have seen many times where Mohamed Salah takes him on the inside and finishes off his chance. Or a worst comes to worst, he creates separation so that he can get the ball to Ekitike, or even Florian Wirtz making a third man run into the box. That is the second thing where I believe space will open up, and where Liverpool, of course, is high risk, high reward, because on the other side, you could say Calafiori is pushing a midfielder out of the way, which Zubimendi and Odegaard can attack into. But on this side, that reward of Mohamed Salah being 1v1 against Gabriel, more times than not, you will trust your winger to take on his man. Even if it takes him the 5th time to beat him, when he does beat him, it will open up a lot of space for his teammates. And the final way I believe Liverpool can break down this Arsenal team is this area here. And that is when Saliba, Gabriel are being pushed back, Calafiori even, and Timber. And Liverpool get this ball towards the byline outside here. What happens is everyone gets pushed towards the box, and if we are able to push them enough into the box, it opens up space for Liverpool to do a specific type of cutback. And that is if Ekitike and Wirtz find themselves on the edge of the area here, and Mohamed Salah can find the ball to them on the edge of the area with their ball striking ability, or even if it's Alexis McAllister and Gravenberch, with their level of ball striking ability, I genuinely believe they can score from outside of the box. And that is one way you break down a team who can be very stubborn defensively. Of course, Zubimendi will be here, Declan Rice will be here, but I saw in pre-season enough times where the man was a bit slow to get to this man outside of the box. It allowed them the shot and the ball went into the back of the net. And if that is something Liverpool can do, in my opinion, with Zubimendi and Rice, Arsenal are going to be a bit more solid on those edge of the box cutbacks and cutbacks in general. But there is the opportunity to do it. So those are the 3 ways I think Liverpool can hurt Arsenal. Targeting Timber and Saliba in the air, exploiting Calafiori's positioning to get Salah isolated, and using cutbacks to the edge of the box for long range efforts. Overall, with this game being at Anfield, the crowd is going to be electric, and if Liverpool can get the Isak deal over the line and announce him before kickoff, the atmosphere will be even more special. The players will feed off that energy, and they will want to show up against arguably their biggest rivals for the title this season. Arsenal, of course, will be up for it too. You always expect that from a Mikel Arteta side, but I just don't think it will be enough to stop Liverpool's firepower. So my prediction for the game, I'm going with a 3-1 Liverpool victory. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and preview of the game. Don't forget to like the video, comment your thoughts and predictions down below in the comments, subscribe for more, hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload. Thanks for watching again, and peace.